Millionaire Robert Hart never expected his quiet daughter, Claire, to stop in the middle of their grand hallway and speak to a poor janitor's son she had never met. But that morning, Ethan Reed stood there holding something that belonged to Claire, something he should never have had. The maids gasped. Robert's voice tightened. Claire's eyes widened as Ethan spoke a few soft words that made the entire mansion fall silent. Everyone froze, unable to understand how this boy from a struggling home carried a truth connected to the Hart family. And what happened next, no one in that house was prepared for. Before we start, tell us from which city are you watching from, and don't forget to drop your thoughts at the end. Enjoy the story. Robert Hart was known across the city as a successful millionaire CEO, the kind of man people respected from a distance, but rarely approached. His mansion sat at the edge of a quiet suburb in California, wrapped in tall hedges and layers of silence. Inside those walls lived his daughter, Claire Hart, a gentle 12-year-old who spoke softly, moved carefully, and often kept to herself. She had grown up surrounded by wealth, but carried a loneliness no one in the mansion understood. Every morning, the staff hurried through the marble halls, polishing, dusting, arranging the world Robert had built. But Claire walked through the same halls with no hurry at all. She simply drifted, quiet, observant, unnoticed. Her mother had passed years earlier, and though Robert loved Claire deeply, he buried himself in work, believing success would somehow protect her from sadness. Instead, it built a distance neither of them could name. On the other side of the city, Marcus Reed started his days very differently. He and his son Ethan lived in a small, aging apartment above a laundromat. Their mornings were filled with the sound of pipes rattling and the rumble of buses outside. Marcus worked tirelessly as a janitor, one of the many employees hired to keep the Hart estate spotless. What he lacked in wealth, he carried in dignity. He believed in doing honest work, even when the world didn't look his way. Ethan, though young, understood the weight his father carried. He walked to school in second-hand shoes, kept his notebooks clean, and always tried to make his father proud. He never complained, never asked for more. But Marcus wished he could give him more. Better meals, better clothes, a better life. Their worlds collided the week Marcus was assigned extra hours at the Hart mansion. With no one to watch Ethan, he brought him along after school. The boy waited quietly near the service hallway, tracing shapes on the stone floor, unaware that the house he sat in belonged to one of the richest men in the city, and unaware that inside it lived a girl just as lonely as he was. Claire first saw him from a distance, a small figure in worn clothes, sitting silently while his father mopped the tiles. Something about him felt familiar, though she didn't know why. Her steps slowed, her fingers curled around the silver pendant she always wore, a pendant her mother gave her before she passed. Marcus noticed Claire before Ethan did, and immediately stood straighter. "Miss Hart," he said respectfully, hoping his son didn't appear out of place. Claire only nodded, staring at the boy her age, who looked up with steady, calm eyes. She didn't speak, but Ethan did. Just one sentence, simple, gentle, unexpected. It made Claire stop. It made Marcus slip and nearly drop his mop. It even made Robert, standing at the end of the hall, raise his head in surprise. Something had been set in motion, something none of them understood yet. And later that evening, when Claire found an item in Ethan's small backpack, an item that should never have left her mother's room, the unanswered truth began to stir in the quiet halls of the Hart mansion. Claire stared at the small wooden pendant, she had found tucked inside Ethan's backpack. It was smooth, hand-carved, shaped like a tiny leaf. Her mother used to wear one just like it when Claire was little. The shape, the grain, even the small notch on the underside. It felt painfully familiar. She turned it over and over in her hand that night, unable to understand how a poor janitor's son could have something so closely tied to her past. The next morning, she went looking for him. Ethan was sitting on the back steps of the mansion, eating a simple peanut butter sandwich while waiting for his father to finish work. His clothes were clean but worn, the soles of his shoes peeling at the edges. Yet, when he saw Claire approaching, he didn't look embarrassed or nervous. He simply offered her half of his sandwich, as if sharing with her was the most natural thing in the world. "I found something," Claire whispered, holding out the wooden pendant. Ethan's expression shifted. Not fear, not guilt. Something else. Something deeper. "I didn't take it," he said quietly. "I just recognized it." "Recognized it how?" Claire asked. Ethan hesitated. "My mom used to have one too." Claire's breath caught. "Your mom?" Before he could answer, Marcus appeared, startled to see his son speaking to the millionaire's daughter. He stepped forward quickly. "Ethan, don't bother Miss Hart. Come help me with the supplies." But Claire shook her head. "He wasn't bothering me." Marcus froze for a moment, surprised, maybe even scared. Employees didn't normally speak casually with the Hart family, much less their children. But Claire was different. She didn't care about rules the way her father did. Still, Marcus gently guided Ethan away. "Come on, don't touch things that don't belong to us." Ethan looked back once, and Claire could tell he wanted to explain more. She wanted to ask more too. But Robert Hart's voice echoed from inside the hallway, calling for her. Throughout the week, Claire kept finding small chances to spend time with Ethan. They walked slowly across the quiet parts of the property, talked about school, shared stories about their mothers, though Ethan always avoided details, as if there were parts he wasn't ready to reveal. One afternoon, Claire slipped on the stone path near the garden. Before she could fall, Ethan grabbed her arm, steady and sure. The gardeners nearby gasped, the maids froze, and from the balcony above, Robert watched with narrowed eyes. He stormed downstairs faster than anyone expected. "Stay away from her," he snapped. Not at Claire, not even at Ethan, but straight at Marcus, who rushed over the moment he heard raised voices. Marcus bowed his head. "Mr. Hart, they're just kids." "Kids who shouldn't be together," Robert interrupted sharply. His tone made the staff stiffen. "You're here to work, nothing more." The humiliation burned in Marcus's eyes, though he hid it for his son's sake. Ethan stepped slightly in front of his father, his jaw tight, but he didn't say anything. He simply placed himself like a small shield. Claire's heart twisted. She had never seen such quiet courage. Later that evening, Marcus told Ethan they would take a different entrance from now on. "We don't want trouble," he said gently. But Ethan shook his head. "Dad, I think Claire's mom knew mine." Marcus's grip tightened on the steering wheel of their old car. His knuckles turned white. "You don't say anything about that," he warned. His voice trembled. "Why?" Ethan whispered. "Because some truths," Marcus said softly, "don't stay buried without reason." And that night, while the mansion slept, Claire made a decision. She took the wooden pendant from her drawer, placed it in her pocket, and slipped quietly into the corridor. She needed to know how Ethan's mother could possibly have owned the same rare carving. But as she turned the corner near the servants' staircase, she overheard two staff members whispering, and what they said made her blood run cold. Marcus was seen in the old storage room last night, the one that belonged to Mrs. Hart. Why would he go in there unless he knew something? Claire stepped back, heart pounding. Because if Marcus had been in her mother's locked room, then the truth she feared was closer than anyone wanted to admit. And in the shadows behind her, someone else had heard the whispers too. The next morning, Claire couldn't focus on anything. Not her breakfast, not her homework, not even the soft sunlight pouring through the mansion windows. The whispers she had overheard about Marcus entering her mother's old storage room replayed in her mind like a haunting echo. Why would he go there? How would he even have access? That room had been locked for years. Downstairs, tension had begun spreading among the staff. The house manager, Angela Pierce, watched Marcus with narrowed eyes every time he passed. She had always been strict, but now she seemed almost eager to catch him doing something wrong. Marcus kept his head down, working quietly, determined not to give anyone a reason to question him. But the pressure was getting to him. His hands shook slightly while he polished the silver railing. Ethan noticed. "Dad," Ethan whispered, "did something happen?" Marcus steadied himself. "Nothing you need to worry about, son." But Ethan wasn't convinced. He had seen his father tired, frustrated, even scared, but never like this. Never with this heaviness in his chest. As if every step inside the mansion carried a secret he desperately wanted to protect. Meanwhile, Robert Hart sensed the shift too. He had caught Claire watching the staff more closely, especially Marcus. He noticed the way she pressed her hand against her pocket, hiding something. Robert didn't know what it was, but he could feel her drifting somewhere he couldn't reach. One afternoon, Robert found Claire in the hallway outside her mother's locked storage room. She didn't hear him approach. "What are you doing here?" he asked suddenly. Claire jumped, clutching the wooden pendant in her pocket. "Nothing, just thinking." Robert followed her gaze to the door. He stiffened. "That room stays closed for a reason." "But why?" Claire asked quietly. "It's about Mom, isn't it? Why can't I know the truth?" Robert's jaw tightened. Some memories hurt more than they help. Then he walked away, leaving Claire more determined than before. Later that evening, Ethan met Claire behind the mansion near the old greenhouse. He had sensed something was wrong and wanted to talk, even though his father had warned him to keep his distance. "Claire, you look upset," he said gently. She took a shaky breath. "Ethan, did your mom ever work here, at the Hart house?" His eyes flickered with confusion, then something like recognition. I don't know. Dad never talks about her. I only have one thing of hers." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a second wooden carving, almost identical to Claire's. This one was shaped like a small bird. Claire felt her stomach drop. "Ethan, how did she get that?" Before he could answer, Marcus appeared out of nowhere, panic rushing across his face. "Ethan, Claire, you two can't be here right now." "Dad, wait," Ethan tried to explain. But Marcus grabbed his son's shoulder urgently. "We need to leave, now." Claire stepped back, startled. "Marcus, what's happening?" Marcus opened his mouth, but no words came. Only fear, a deep fear. Then Angela Pierce stormed around the corner, holding a ring of keys. "Mr. Hart is looking for you, Marcus," she said sharply. "He wants to speak about your visit to the old storage room." Marcus froze. Claire felt her heart thud in her chest. Ethan whispered, "Dad, what did you do?" Marcus finally spoke, voice low, trembling. "I didn't do anything wrong. I just found something your mother left behind." Angela's eyes widened. So you admit it. And that moment, Claire understood something terrible was about to be revealed. But before she could ask, Robert's voice echoed from inside the mansion, angry, demanding. Marcus Reed, get in here, now. The air went silent. Claire clutched the pendant. Ethan clutched the carving. And the truth that connected their families was about to break open. Marcus walked into Robert Hart's study, with Ethan close behind him. Claire slipped in a moment later, standing near the doorway, her heart pounding. Robert didn't sit. He paced, slow, sharp steps that filled the room with tension. Why were you inside my late wife's storage room? Robert demanded. His voice shook with anger he had tried to bury for years. Marcus swallowed hard. Sir, I wasn't stealing. I was putting away old supplies. The door was open. I recognized something inside. Robert stopped pacing. Recognized what? Marcus hesitated, torn between fear and honesty. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a faded photograph, creased from years of being kept safe. He placed it gently on Robert's desk. It's my late wife, Marcus said softly. Her name was Lily. Robert's hand hovered over the photo, but refused to touch it. Claire stepped closer and looked down. Her breath caught. Standing beside Marcus's late wife in the photograph was Claire's mother. Claire pressed a hand to her chest. Ethan clenched the carving he carried, his knuckles white. Robert stared at the picture, his expression cracking. This isn't possible. Marcus took a slow breath. Lily worked here years ago, long before you became a millionaire CEO. Long before you and your wife were married. They were close, like sisters. When my wife passed, I kept the small things she treasured most. I didn't know they meant something to Claire too. Claire felt tears rising. Dad, Mom knew Ethan's mom. She wasn't a stranger. Robert turned away, struggling to breathe evenly. His voice broke for the first time. I thought I locked that room because I couldn't bear the memories. But maybe I locked away more than that. Angela Pierce stepped forward, eyes sharp. Mr. Hart, this man had no right to keep that photo. It proves he kept things from the family. No, Claire cut in, surprising everyone. It proves there's more truth here than any of us knew. Ethan stepped beside her, his voice small but steady. Our moms were connected. Maybe we were meant to meet. Everyone fell silent. Marcus finally said what he had been holding back. There's something else your wife left behind. Something I kept because I didn't know who it belonged to. Robert faced him, slowly. What? Something else? Marcus nodded. I have a letter, written for you. Robert's face drained of color, and from the doorway, Angela's expression darkened because she clearly didn't want that letter to see the light of day. Robert's hands trembled as Marcus slowly unfolded the aged letter. The paper was soft at the edges, worn from years of being hidden. Claire and Ethan stood shoulder to shoulder now, both staring at the fragile note that felt powerful enough to change everything. Marcus held it out. Your wife gave this to Lily right before she passed. She asked her to keep it safe until the day you were ready to face the truth. Robert hesitated, then took the letter with unsteady fingers. The room felt painfully still. Even Angela, though standing rigidly behind Robert, watched with an uneasy stiffness. He read the first line silently. His throat tightened, his lips parted. Then he read aloud, voice unsteady. Robert, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone. And it means you're still carrying the guilt that doesn't belong to you. Claire's breath caught. Robert's eyes blurred with tears. She wrote this after the accident, he whispered. She knew. She knew how hard I'd blame myself. Marcus stepped forward gently. She wanted you to forgive yourself. But Robert continued reading, the next lines hitting harder. And one more thing. Lily's son will grow up without a mother, just like Claire will grow up without me. Promise me you won't let them be strangers. They deserve to know the kindness we shared. Ethan's eyes widened. Claire's heartbeat thudded in her ears. Robert lowered the letter, shaken to his core. She wanted them to grow up connected. It's why I kept the carvings, Marcus said softly. They made them together during the years they spent here. Those carvings were their friendship, their bond. For a moment, silence wrapped around all of them. Heavy, emotional, soul-stirring. Then Angela sharply stepped forward. Mr. Hart, this changes nothing. They still broke rules. The boy shouldn't. Enough, Robert said, his voice low but filled with a new clarity. You kept everyone apart because you thought distance protected us. But it only made this house colder. Angela stiffened. I was protecting your reputation. No, Robert replied, finally lifting his eyes. You were protecting your control. She flinched, caught off guard. Robert looked at Marcus with something close to remorse. I owe your family more than apologies. Claire moved to Ethan's side, gripping his hand tightly. Dad, please, let this be the moment we do what Mom wanted. Robert exhaled shakily. It will be. But before anyone could take another step, Angela suddenly turned and rushed out of the study. Her heels echoed down the hallway, fast, frantic. Marcus frowned. What is she doing? Robert's face hardened, something she doesn't want us to stop. And in the next second, a loud crash sounded from somewhere deep inside the mansion. A sound that sent all four of them running. They sprinted through the mansion toward the source of the crash. A shelf in the old storage hallway had been tipped over, and scattered across the floor were boxes Claire had never seen opened before. Boxes labeled with her mother's name. Angela stood frozen amid the mess, breathing hard, eyes darting from the broken items to the approaching group. Robert stepped forward. Angela, what were you trying to do? She swallowed. Protect you, sir. If people learned your wife hid things, secrets, it could damage everything. Robert shook his head slowly. The only thing damaged here is trust. Angela looked down, realizing her attempt to control the narrative had failed. Without another word, she left the hallway, her footsteps echoing faintly as she walked out of the mansion. This time, without the authority she once held. For the first time in years, the mansion felt quiet in a different way. Not empty, not cold, just waiting. Robert knelt beside one of the fallen boxes. Inside lay small, wooden carvings identical to the ones Claire and Ethan held. Leaves, birds, stars, tiny shapes filled with careful detail. Claire touched one with trembling fingers. Mom made these with Lily, Robert said, his voice softer than Claire had ever heard. They spent hours together creating things that reminded them of hope. Marcus stepped closer. My wife kept hers because they made her feel safe, loved. Ethan ran a thumb across the bird carving. Dad always said she had a gentle heart. Claire smiled sadly. So did my mom. Robert looked at the three of them, and something inside him finally loosened. I shut that room because I thought memories would break us. But all it did was lock away what mattered. He turned to Marcus. You should never have been afraid to tell me the truth. I'm sorry. Marcus lowered his head, eyes shining. I was protecting my boy. Robert nodded. And now I want to help protect him too. Ethan blinked. Sir, you're not just the janitor's son, Robert said gently. You're part of a story our families began long before any of us understood it. If your mother wanted our children to grow up connected, then that's exactly what will happen. Claire stepped forward and placed her wooden pendant next to Ethan's bird carving. "We can keep their bond alive," she whispered. Marcus exhaled with relief. Ethan grinned for the first time that day, and Claire felt a warmth she hadn't felt in years. Family, found and restored in a way she never expected. Weeks passed, and the mansion slowly changed. The halls felt brighter. Marcus became the estate supervisor, trusted and valued. Ethan visited often after school, studying with Claire, exploring the old greenhouse, rebuilding pieces of the past with newly carved wooden shapes. And 1 year later, on a warm afternoon, they all gathered in the garden for a small remembrance ceremony, honoring both women who had shaped their lives. They placed the carvings in a wooden frame, sealed under glass, symbolizing the connection that had brought their families back together. Robert spoke quietly, but every word carried meaning. "Wealth never saved this home," he said. "Kindness did." Claire held Ethan's hand, and for the first time, the mansion didn't feel like a lonely landmark of wealth. It felt like a place where stories healed, where truth created unity, and where even the most unexpected friendships could change everything. As the sun dipped behind the hedges, the carving frame glowed softly, two mothers' love preserved, guiding the lives they left behind. And with that final moment of peace and renewal, the story of the millionaire's quiet daughter and the janitor's son came to a heartwarming close. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and watch the next story on Strong Echoes of Hope and SNS.